You need to hold the brush right here. The closer you hold it, the more control you have. I'm not saying to hold it like a pencil, like that. I mean, you can, but this is a good in between. Hi, hello, welcome. I feel like I never really introduced this series when I first started or just explained a little bit more of what it actually is. So welcome to the Clueless series. I honestly came up with this Clueless series because I wanted to help people who honestly just had literally like they just felt like they were completely clueless when it came to makeup, from the very basics of like brushes. What brushes do I need? What are they used for? How do I hold them? I just feel like a lot of the times, at least for me, when I was younger and I was getting into makeup, I didn't really see that many videos that really went into detail on how to hold things. I don't know, like very simple things. I remembered as I was getting into makeup and I was helping other people, I would teach them just something as simple as putting on mascara, how to hold the wand, how to apply it. And so I just wanted to provide that space for some people who honestly just felt very lost. So if you're here for that reason, welcome. This is a very completely non-judgmental space. So you will see that I tend to slow down a little bit more than usual. And you'll see that I'm like, this is how you do this. And you'll see that if as you're going through this series, but I just wanted to reiterate the fact that this is majority for people who are honestly new to makeup, new to beauty, who are honestly just completely clueless and don't know what is what. In this series, specifically in this video, I wanted to cover just kind of like an easy, basic eyeshadow look that you can just easily do. Then we'll move on to, I know, like the contour and bronzer. What the heck is that? What is the difference? Is it the same thing? So in this specific video, which I was like, yeah, you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up. I don't know. You want to look cute. So I just figured you can do this easy eyeshadow look. And then once you do this eyeshadow look, you can honestly, it's so easy. You can honestly, and I know this is probably out there already, but it wasn't me. I don't see my face. I'm just gonna do it and just add it to the playlist, and you could just go back to it. First thing you're going to need for this, so I think I might have talked about this, I don't remember, I don't know, but finding a bronzer. Now, really quickly, I know we haven't gotten depth about bronzer quite yet, I don't think, bronzer is basically, it mimics, like, if you look at my head right now, when you look at my face, you'll see there's like darkness, right? The light right now is like dark here, here, naturally here, and here. You see that, like the shadow is basically of your face. If you ever been on the beach, you get what I'm saying? Bronzer is supposed to make you look bronze. It's supposed to make you look warmer, like you just went to the beach, right? And you'll see when people are applying bronzer, if you ever look up people applying bronzer, it just adds some warmth, like oomph. Whereas contour, it's literally to contour and it's more of a cooler shade. Now, when we go back to the video about me talking about undertones, literally contour is more for like mimicking shadows, like actual contour. When you look here, excuse me, like the shadows, it's not going to be warmth. And when I think of bronzer, honestly, I just think of it primarily for my forehead. Like when the sun is like beaming on me over the summertime, it is warm right here. So anyway, that was like a really quick overview of what bronzer is. But for this eye look or any eye look, you just need, if you already have a bronzer, then you would need a bronzer. And if you don't have a bronzer, then just find an eyeshadow that is about 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. That's it. With my skin tone, any kind of dark brown will work for me. So this right here, Credit, in the ABH palette, as you can see, this is a really good alternative. The ABH palette, this shade Credit, Black and Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette, this shade and this shade, these are really good. Honestly, I can honestly just use these 3 for an eye look. My bronzer, I've been using this bronzer. I think it's the only bronzer that I have, like powder bronzer. And then I have this Danessa Myricks like power bronzer. That one is more of like a balm. And then it like, Danessa, she's very innovative. So that one's also a good alternative. But just for this eye look, honestly, just something like this, right? You see how it's like warmer than my skin tone. It adds some warmth, right? But this is only for the eye look. So just if you have some kind of like dark brown, and if you are like a lighter skin tone, just like a taupe mauve brown, just anything that's like 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. But I like to have like just like a flat base. Or with this look, it doesn't really matter, because I tend to just sometimes, if I'm having, it depends on the look that you're going for. So if you're like not wearing much coverage on your face and you just kind of want to put a little mascara, then you could just go in without using a concealer or anything to kind of like make your eyelids one color. What I typically do is I like to prime my lids. So a primer, when you think of a primer, going back to the basics, where the point of the primer when you paint is to make sure that it's like a smooth base, kind of same idea, right? So I like to just use a concealer that's like, this shade is like 1 to 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, but this is like my go-to, honestly. So you just kind of like, let me just slow it down. Literally, I'm just doing this. Or you could just get the wand, whatever concealer shade that you have, and we did cover concealer, tap it, and you could just use your finger, or you could just use a brush, whatever you want. And what I'm doing is I'm literally just tapping. I'm not swiping. Going back to why we don't tap and swipe. I am tapping because I want as much coverage as possible in this concealer, okay? This is Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer. Last I remember, I mean, I did get it on sale, but it can be pretty pricey, and I want to, you know, see how it looks right here. Like, it's kind of like one shade. If I were to swipe, then swiping just kind of like takes away some of the product, whereas I want to press it into the skin and get as much payback, like, you know, payoff as I can. So I'm just lightly just doing this. You can choose to do your brows first. I like to do my brows. I started doing it last because I felt like every time I would do my brows first, I always had to go back in and kind of redo it. So I was like, you know what, let me just do my eyes first and then just go from there. That's one step. You're already ahead of the game. You already got your concealer, your eyelids are prepped, they are ready. Now for this eye look, and I'm just going to get a fluffy brush. And again, I'm gonna film another updated video, but any fluffy brush that looks like this. Hold on. Where it is fluffy like this, right? All around 360. Any kind of brush that you have is fluffy like this. You don't want it to be flat, fluffy. And we're gonna go back to why you want it to be fluffy, so that way you can like blend, right? So what we're gonna do is find the darker shade that you want. I'm gonna use a bronzer because honestly, if you watch some people who do makeup, like, you can never go wrong with a bronzer. We're going to have different versions of this eyeshadow look, by the way, but typically this is what you call a transition shade, or you're just adding some depth to your face or to your eyelid. So I'm just gonna go in with this bronzer right here. I'm gonna tap. I'm turning it, I'm turning it as I'm tap. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap off the extra. The reason why people tap it off is because just in case it's like a lot. See that? When you tap, you see like a little dust come into it. So now I'm gonna find my brow bone. Sorry for the hooded eye people. I don't have hooded eyes, but I'm just gonna like, I feel like the tip is find where your brow, I think we all have a brow bone. Find your brow bone. Don't be like me. Right here. And this is where when I look directly at y'all, my crease is right here. And I'm literally just gonna put it in the socket. I'm gonna turn the brush just right here. And this is when I'm just gonna like I'm making these circles. I haven't moved it yet, but the points are making a circle. So I'm gonna close my one lid. You can make circles like that, but you can just do one. You can do this. Okay. It's not enough for me. So I'm gonna go in, tap more, until you start seeing the payoff. Now you can kind of see it. So I'm just kind of doing this. And you see, because it's fluffy, it distributes just enough. It makes it light just enough. I'm just gonna do this again. And I'm gonna build it up to how much I wanna see the bronzy look. So again, I'm gonna go this, as back in the day, we used to call this the window wiper motion, whatever, like windshield, right? You're going like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not going all the way out here. I'm not going over right here. And I'm gonna show y'all a trick to make it look very, but you don't need to go in here. Literally where your pupil is, where your pupil starts right here, you can stop right here. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm kind of like turning the brush just because I want to make sure like I'm getting every bit of bronzer off of the brush. So that way, I don't know, I'm just being Brenda. Just like this. I'm like, you know what? I want a little more. If you want to turn this to like a nighttime, just like more of like an everyday, we're gonna turn it into a nighttime like a look. See, again, I'm not going all the way in here. Literally stopping right here. One. By the way, I'm looking at my vanity mirror if you're wondering. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then I try to go, so the brow bone typically, because you're adding definition back to your face. If you saw me before I put the concealer on, naturally, the darkness is just here. And then naturally, your brow bone is just lighter. That's just the way it is, because it's like prominent and the depth is here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna add a little bit more on the other side. I'm not gonna slow down as much. I'm literally just tapping 1, 2, 3. And then you can also do this, but you'll find your groove. But I'm literally staying in my crease. This brow bone right here, I don't know if you can hear it. I'm staying right where it's at. I'm not going right here. Like right here in the section right there. I don't know what it's called. I didn't learn that in biology. Okay. You see that? You're already halfway there. I'm just gonna do this again just because, and you can choose to add more, and you can also choose, I'm gonna do one eye. You can stop here and then go to this next step, but if you wanna take it a step further, you can use a smaller brush, a smaller fluffy brush. I'm gonna show you. This is a fluffy brush, but you can use the same brush too. Actually, let's use the same brush because we ain't gotta be. And I'm going to get a darker color than the bronzer. I'm gonna do a dark brown, which was that I have in here. So I can use a contour color, I can use the color credit. So I'm gonna use the color credit, and I'm just gonna do 1, 2, because it's a dark brown. I'm gonna build it up. So the second color, this one we're kind of like building depth, right? We're not making this like a one flat look. We're building depth, and it's typically what you see in eyeshadow looks. So I'm gonna create more depth by adding a dark brown, not right here. I'm not even gonna make it go any higher, because imagine if I made it go higher, then the bronzer is gonna look muddy and just looks like you want that gradient blended look typically with eyeshadow looks. So I'm going to, because for me, this looks a little bit much. I like to sometimes do this. Actually, I sometimes do this, like just kind of like look where I can see my whole lid. And I'm gonna put the darker color right here. I'm not gonna make it go past here. I'm just gonna like focus it right here lightly. Just going back and forth. I'm not making it go. I'm literally focusing it even more right here. And I'm holding the brush right here because that way I have more control. If you hold the brush right here, it's like flimsy. See what I mean? I can't even. You're not going, you need to hold the brush right here. The closer you hold it, the more control you have. I'm not saying you need to hold it like a pencil, like that. I mean, you can, but this is a good in between. So I'm gonna like do this again. I don't know if they sell this anymore. The Morphe 535. I'm gonna tap again one more time. I'm just gonna do right here again. I like to do eyes first because that way if anything falls out or it gets messy, I can always get my face product to kind of like clean it up. Do this right here. One more time. So that's the one. I'm not gonna do the other one because that's the point of the whole thing, but I'm gonna do one more time because I want more depth. Do 1, 2, right here. So that way I can see what I'm talking about. See that? It's kind of looking smoky. See that? And you can stop right here. I want it to be a little bit more blended with the bronzer. I turn the brush so I can make sure I got a little bit of the leftovers. Right here. Okay. So now we're almost done. We have one more step and that's it. Or maybe 2 more steps, depending on who you are. Now you can find any shimmery shade. Now we're gonna put you can stop right here, or right here and just put on mascara and call it a day. Now, if you want to like add a little bit more oomph, you can choose a shimmery eyeshadow shade. Sometimes people like to use like an eyeshadow shade that's pretty much like their skin tone, but like with shimmer. Or you can use, like, for example, I could also use this, like, if you have a highlighter. I know it's not 2016 anymore. We don't really wear highlighter, but you can also use a highlighter shade. I'm gonna get some of the Black Radiance one and show y'all, sample a little bit on my lid or on my hand right here. It's not a lot, see that? But it's just enough. I'm just gonna do another one. Yeah, it's like not crazy amount. See that? So that's like the highlighter shade. You can choose to go like very like subtle for that lid. Again, just depends on what mood you're going for and what the day asks of you. I'm trying to look at what eyeshadow, I don't know what eyeshadow color I should do, but you can do any eyeshadow look that you want. I'm gonna do a little shimmer just because why not? It's kind of best sometimes to use your finger, but I understand sometimes it can be a little tricky depending on your nails, but it is best with shimmery products to use your finger. So I'm gonna use my ring finger like I did. I got some of the highlighter shade right here. I don't need a lot, and that's the thing, you don't want a lot. So I don't really care for like the very shimmery, glittery look. So I'm literally just gonna apply it. I'm gonna look down. I'm not even going to swipe or anything. I'm literally just lightly. See that? I'm lightly putting it wherever I did not put the bronzer or concealer, or the bronzer or the darker chocolate color. Now, when you are tapping it, it will kind of go into the crease a little bit, but that's okay. See that? That's okay. Honestly, as long as you don't bring it up over here or over here, I think it's fine. It just kind of makes it look all blended anyway. So kind of like looks like it's like sprinkles of shimmer. So I think that's totally fine. And sometimes with glitter, which with highlighter, you can choose, you gotta be careful with this because sometimes I will swipe if I want more out. What do you call it? Out? What do you call it? If you want more payoff, more color payoff. But honestly, with this, look a little 1, 2, 3, I'm okay with. And boom. You see that? You could choose a pink, whatever. I don't know. You know what? Why don't we do, since we have this free right here, I'm gonna get a pink eyeshadow. I don't know. Because again, we already added some depth. We already have a transition shade. And I know you're probably like, what the heck is a transition shade? A transition shade basically is typically the color that you end up putting in your crease. Now for our transition shade, we used a dark, you might have used your bronzer, you might have used a dark brown, whatever color that's like 1 to 2 shades darker than your skin tone, so that we can create depth. And what I mean by depth is, you see how it just kind of like, it's not just flat like it was when I had just a concealer. It added some definition. We're human beings, we don't have flat faces. Like right now you're looking at me, I have depth. Like I have a bone structure, you know what I mean? Like my nose protruding, there's shadows in different places. So you're typically with makeup, you're bringing back in what you got rid of, if that makes any sense. Because typically when you put on like foundation, it pretty much just covered up all the depth and shadows that you naturally have in your face, which is why we add bronzer, concealer, highlighter, all that kind of stuff to kind of bring it back in a very creative, fun way. So I'm gonna go in with this pink shade because why not? I'm gonna use a matte shade for this eye look right here, for this side, so you can see. I'm gonna go in with the shade Supreme on the Jackie Aina palette with ABH. I know this is kind of like on people's like Rob list or whatever the things people be saying on TikTok. I'm going with like a clean finger because I feel like sometimes I don't care for it to be very neat or whatever. I'm gonna swipe a little bit of this Supreme shade. Ooh, this color is also pretty. Pinker. Ooh. Now, if you've seen this palette, Pinker, and if you have it, Pinker and Supreme would be a really good one. If you put bronzer and then you went in with Pinker and then you put it same place you put the dark chocolate one and then you went with Supreme, that would be really pretty. Because again, you're going with darker and lighter because you're creating depth. So I'm going to pat the pink because I'm thankful that this palette is very pigmented. So I'm going to lightly tap. I'm gonna like just close my lid as best as I can because I can't really talk in. And I don't go all the way over here because that's just me kind of like getting rid of like the work that I did. You can choose to go like completely here where your lid is, like right here. You can choose to do it, but You know, why not? Why don't we do it? Because for visual learners, because I'm a visual learner, I'm just tapping because I don't really care for it to be like crazy, crazy pink, but I just want it to look pink when people look at my eyeshadow. See that? Tap. I'm gonna swipe just because I'm like, okay. Now, when you are doing all these eyeshadow looks with your fingers, you're like, dang, like the color that I first put on is gone. Well, guess what? We can always go back in again and reapply. So I'm gonna go with my bronzer because I feel like when I had put on my lid color, which makes sense, most of the bronzer is gone. So I'm gonna go back in and add the definition that I kind of lost on. So I'm gonna go in with the bronzer. Same brush. I don't really care too much with the bronzer mixing with the chocolate color because again, it's dark enough where it's gonna add the depth back in. So I'm gonna use my fluffy brush right here. I like to do this so I can actually see where the color meets. Wherever they meet is where I'm gonna add it back in. Because I decided that I'm not gonna, because here I didn't go all the way with the shimmer because I kind of like the look right here. This one I'm like, you know what, why don't we do it? So I'm gonna go in here, focusing it here. I dabbed 1, 2, 2. And again, it's okay if it ends up going right here because I don't have any face makeup yet. So I'm just gonna apply this here. Okay, there you go. And that's it. That's your eye look. You can choose to do something like this where you use kind of like 2 deeper colors, or you can choose to use just bronzer and then put on a lid shade, put on mascara, which I will show you in the next video how to put on mascara, and you're done. And then you can do your face product, which I have other videos where I show you how to like the difference between skin tints, foundation, all that kind of stuff. You already have that with you. But if you already know how to do your normal base routine, your base routine is basically like your base. So people mention their base, like this is the base. There's the base, which is pretty much your whole face, and then your eyes. So there's the eye makeup and there's the base makeup. So we're pretty much with the eyes. So if you wanna go ahead now and do the rest of your face makeup, or AKA base makeup, you can totally do that and you're pretty much ready to go wherever the day takes you. Before I forget, you can choose to stop right here and do your mascara, which you can follow along in the next video, or you can do this step that some people think is necessary, some people don't, or I don't really do it as much, but honestly, it makes a difference when I remember to do it. Now is, again, we're bringing back depth into our face or to our eyes. The last step, which is optional, is putting a highlighter color on your brow bone. As you can see naturally, this is lighter, right? Even with me, I mean, I didn't intentionally go in with the dark colors and like put it right here, but naturally where the light hits, this is supposed to be brighter. So what you can do is if you want to add a little more oomph, you can choose to go into any palette that has pretty much your skin tone, but like 1 to 2 shades lighter. So I'm gonna look into these palettes and see, or you can choose to use a setting powder, like a translucent setting powder to add to your brow bone to make it lighter. Okay, I'm gonna use the sculpting shade here. I don't know if it's light enough, but I'm gonna use this flat top brush right here. I'm gonna use this flat top brush. It's kind of tainted with like another, but it's not gonna, yeah, the green is not coming out. It's just, I'm gonna use this brush right here. Tap, tap. I'm gonna do it 3, 2, did about 5 times. Tap, tap. Yep, a lot of extra came out. And I'm going to, with the brow bone right here, depending on your brow shape, whatever works for you, the very tip of the arch right here, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna add some more because I'm just like, where did it go? Yep. I can't really see anything because this color is pretty much my exact shade, but I know that it's kind of getting rid of the bronzer a little bit, which is why you can definitely go in, because again, you could just kind of lose out on it. This is not bright enough for me. I don't think I have like a light, like I just want, there was this single eyeshadow that I had from like Elizabeth Arden, which was very random. I think my mom got it for me randomly, and it was like the perfect like creamy white shadow for my brow bone. It was deep, like, I mean, I would specifically hold on to it, like just so that way I can use it for my brow bone because it just matched really well. Okay, I obviously don't even have that, but again, you can choose to pat your brow bone so that way it looks cleaner. And again, my brows are not done yet. And when I fill in my brows, which I will not be doing that in this video, to be quite honest with y'all, maybe I probably should, because a lot of y'all, I mean, it's like Brenda. Anyway, so that way when I fill in my brow bone, which I'm going to do that, it's going to look even more uniform and like, oh wow. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's honestly the most easiest basic eye look that you can do. You know what I'm gonna do actually to make it look a bit better for y'all, because this looks a little crazy? I'm gonna put on just like the blurring balm from Danessa Myricks. Okay, I'm gonna come right back and then we can get an idea of like some of the look. As you can see now with the look pulled together, I put a little bit of concealer, blush on and everything, and I put mascara on. You can see now, okay, like this looks so much better, because I know before it didn't really look that good with me just like with no, like it just with no face, just full on like a whole eyeshadow look. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the look, and I hope any one of these eyeshadow looks work for you. Let me know if you try it. I just feel like that is like the 1, 2, 3 step when it comes to putting eyeshadow on. And of course you can always venture out and try different colors and things like that. I just feel like this is like the easiest way to do eyeshadow if you're just trying to go somewhere and, you know, do eyeshadow if that's what you want to do. So yeah, feel free to check out my other videos in this series. I am so glad you're here. Feel free to stick around and check out the other videos. And yeah, come back for the next part of this video where I pretty much just show you how to apply mascara, because why not? Okay, bye.